Would you like to tell us your story?
Sure. My name is Ramos, and I live in San Antonio, Texas, with our 5-year-old daughter, Macy Ramos, and my 14-year-old, who's a twin son. My twin daughter lives with her dad. And so my story is that 4 years ago, when Marcelino Ramos, my husband, was detained and set for deportation, even though he was a victim of a crime here. He had a prior deportation, long story short, and he came back, in 2012 because of the cartel being so active over there. And, he had a choice to make. Either he was going to stay there in Nuevo Laredo and suffer, keep being tortured and dying there, or taking the risk to come back. He had a mom who was on her deathbed also, and so, he made that choice to come back and to live here. I came into the picture in 2013, not thinking, he had ever been deported. He was open about his felony case. Um, and that felony case is something that happens too often with the deported veterans, and that's why they get sent to wherever they sent. My stance, and not ever even being involved in military or anything, is that, American citizens can do their crime and pay for their time and get back to sit back and enjoy life, right? Well, that's not so true for a veteran who serves, and much less a veteran who was not even born in this country, but yet took that oath to protect and serve. And so to me, they cannot be more loyal of a person. That's somebody that does that. I mean, I've read in different statistics, they do what 1% of Americans do, which is put on that uniform to serve. And so in my case, I never knew that he was here illegally. I mean, and so we had a life. We started buying a house. We had a daughter. Um, he he was a victim of a crime in September 2015 here in the United States. And so when he was set up and picked up by the ICE, detained, we got an attorney, paid, $10,000, started the U visa, because that's when we found out about the U visa. This attorney basically took, the money, did as much as he could do. Um, I'm recording. And so it still ended up failing him because the judge decided to deport him after all. Say hi. Say hi. Come here. Say hi. And so they ended up deporting him and to a country where he had no family, which is the case for most gentlemen and women. I didn't even know that they were going to deport him, because when I called the detention center, I asked them, I said, well, can you, I knew they were going to deport him, but I did not know on which day. And so they could not give me that information. It was top secret information. And I thought, what a bad way to send a person to their country, drop them off at the bridge and say, go back to your country. You know, I mean, not having family, not having money on him, not having any kind of resources, not having a home. So he did sleep in the streets for a couple of days until he was able to make a phone call to me. And then I went down there, and not ever having traveled to Mexico and crossing the border, it was a new experience for me, and it was a frightening experience because of all the bad things that I had heard about Nuevo Laredo. But I mean, I go with the armor of God and the protection of God, and said, you know what, I have to do this for my husband, for my daughter. So we went to go meet him, and I was able to, rent a hotel for a week. So we were in, fantasy land that weekend. But then it was like I had to come back home because I had a job here. I was living with my father at the time because I had lost our home when he got deported. And that was very difficult because I felt like my life was at a standstill, because I didn't know whether to stay here or go and follow him, go to Mexico, go to Nuevo Laredo, go to Laredo. But I knew that I had a job here. I was at University of Texas at San Antonio. I had been there already 22, 23 years. I had twin children from a prior marriage. So it's not like I could just get up and leave. I mean, there were a lot of factors involved. And so we were able to, within a couple of weeks, find him. His family, his sister helped him out, you know, paying for a hotel for him there for a couple of weeks. And then we were able to find un departamento there where he had to pay about 6,000 pesos a month. He could not find a job. So of course we had to be able to, you know, help him, support him. I did have our daughter over here. I would go sometimes, you know, maybe once a month when I could go visit him. Um, so it stayed like that. And then fast forwarding to March of 2018, my twins' dad came and used that against me. The fact that I was traveling to Mexico and I was going to do the, what is that, conventional kidnapping, um, take our twins over there. So he filed a lawsuit against me and sought for sole custody of our twins, whom I had raised for the past 10 years since they were 9 months old. I mean, so to me, I feel like, you know, everybody talks about the deported veteran, but they don't talk about all the rippling effects that that causes, you know, losing a home and losing children and not being able to have a father for my daughter here, not having, you know, that parent support for her. We already have enough bad kids in this world. Well, not bad kids, but kids that make wrong
Oh,
decisions because of the fact that, you know, they don't have two parents at home, you know, because we're left as a single mom. I'm left to work, you know, and guess where my daughter goes, you know, during the day, instead of being, and then she comes home with me. And then of course she's very upset, you know, because every night she cries and says that, you know, why can't my daddy be here? And he's a Marine, and she's really heartbroken by all of that. So it's been a long time that I haven't gone to see him since July, and prior to that it was March. So we've probably seen him maybe 2 or 3 times this year, and I won't be able to go because of the COVID now, and because of my job requires a 14-day quarantine now. But in June of 2018, he did get picked up by, you know, some bad people, and he got beat, tortured. His ribs were broken. We have pictures, and he said he was suffering there alone. And it's not like he could go to the police or he could go to the hospital, because once they find out, they'll come back and, you know, by the grace of God, he lived. I mean, and he proved to them that he wasn't with anybody, and he proved to them that, hey, you know, my family helps me. I do some boxing, personal fitness classes, and that's how he makes his little, you know, the pesos that he makes, because he's so Americanized. It's not easy for him to go and find a job there, and they don't want to hire him. Guess why? He's all tattooed with Marine insignia, and so they don't look at that. Yeah. And so I mean, they look at that and they're like, oh no, I mean, right away you're categorized. And so when he was in detention, I hired this Dr. Borman, who did a study. And so I think I sent it to you, Caesar. It's a 26-page study where he studies all cartel activity in El Salvador and Mexico. And he calls veterans who are deported the, you know, pochos, right? Anybody that's been Americanized is called a pocho. But the veteran that goes back is a super pocho. And guess what? They're the poster child for the cartel, because you all have all that intel that they need and that they want. And so then when you have somebody like Marcelino that's not, he's loyal to America. I mean, despite what our government has done to him, he is still loyal to this government, you know? And
loyal to the country. He's not loyal to the government because
well, yes, to the country, exactly. Thank you for that correction. So he won't, you know, he won't give up anything, you know, and he right now he's been in a depressed mode. um you talk about PTSD, that is already there, and the being there in Mexico heightens it even worse, you know, or any country that the veterans are in. um, so right now, you know, you know, Caesar and Jesus and Robert have all given him that little glimmer of hope. And I've always told him, you just got to keep pushing and keep pushing. And, you know, in the beginning, I was kind of laying low, not being able to do so many interviews because I had to protect my other children. But now I told them, I said, you know what? Everything's out in the open. There's
Right
nothing to
now, it's
hide.
all hands on deck. Everybody, Manuel Valenzuela's been fighting for 11 years. I've been fighting for 8, and we're already there at the finish line. We just need to cross it, and that's why I came up with the idea that this way it's gonna be publicly known now. Everybody that is a deported veteran, their stories gotta come out. Not just me. Like, people recognize me on the street, and I'm grateful for it because I have inspired certain people. But my story is already getting fixed. I need everybody else to start speaking. And since David is up this morning up in Africa, let me introduce him real quick so he can
Yes.
tell us his story while Hans is driving. David Bariu, I known him for about 5 years. He contacted me when I actually started Unify U.S. Deported Veterans. And he started telling me his story. And I'm like, what, man? You're in Africa and you're all by yourself? He served in the Army. He was here in the U.S. legally with a student visa. The recruiter that put him in falsified some paperwork without David's knowledge. And that's how David joined the service. He didn't commit any fraud on his side. The recruiter is the one that lied to him, which we all know all about that. And a few years later, he was picked up by ICE because they found out that he didn't have the actual permission to join. But without further saying anything else that I might not know and talking out of ignorance, I'm gonna let David tell us his story, and we'll give you that opportunity, David. Please introduce yourself and tell us your story.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. David Kenyo Bariu is a deported U.S. veteran, and I took straight through the course to get everybody back home. I came to the States in '98 as a F1 student visa. I joined Southern Arkansas University for 2 semesters. And during that holiday, I visited my friends in Dallas. That's where I met this recruiter who apparently said that I was legal enough to join the military. He looked at my passport, said everything looks okay. You have a F1 student visa, so you can join. And since you're a student, you're gonna get this MGI bill. It's gonna help you to school. And that was one of them. Like, okay, we're getting free education. And add to that, he said, once you're done with the military, you get your citizenship, or in the process. So that was a plus for me. It's like, okay. So after joining the military, I went to my basic training, Fort Benning, Georgia. Did my AIT in Richmond, Virginia, Fort Lee, as a 92 Alpha. That was automated logistics specialist. I got done with that. I got posted at Fort Lewis, Washington. And that's where my military career started. My unit was HHC 593rd CSG. It was a headquarters kind of unit. And I love the military, all the training, all the courses I took, all the friends I met. Then sometime in 2000, that's where my unit commander called me in regards to the recruiting process. He called me in the office and told me that there was some issues with that, and you needed to go to Fort Hood, Texas. So I went to Fort Hood, Texas. There was a hearing. The recruiter and a couple of troopers, that included me. All those were either they were foreign with either student visas or they're just foreign. So they went through all of us, and they found that he was found guilty of recruiting us without our knowledge, or falsifying, giving us the wrong information just to get us in. And after that, I had to go back to Fort Lewis, and my commander told me it's unfortunate of what happened. And whatever discharge you get, it's going to be honorable, and nobody can take that from you. So I was honorably discharged, and in the process of being discharged, the immigration, because they were already notified of the situation, I had to attend to a hearing at Seattle, which they gave me it was a voluntary departure to leave the country within a certain period. So I decided to get a lawyer for that and counter and see whether I can fight my case. So I got a lawyer. A lawyer's name was, it was this organization in Dallas. The name is, well, I got a lawyer. I'm sorry. I'll remember. I'll let you know. So the lawyer, I paid the fees for that, and he processed the paperwork for me to, since I joined the military and I left during a hostile situation, he said I qualified for my naturalization. And I wasn't that much knowledgeable about law and what happens with that. So I was like, okay. So I kept on calling just to find out how long my process will be. And with time, they kept on, phasing out, not responding on time. And I started getting worried, stressed out, don't know what's going on. Then one time they called me, they told me, oh, everything looks okay, and you need to go for an interview. So I went for it was the initial one, just introduction between me and the immigration. So they needed to know exactly who I was and stuff. So I went there. Apparently, my attorney didn't show up. He told me just to go by myself, but he told me the last one he will attend. So I went by myself, did my intros, then they told me everything is fine. Then I think it was a month later, that's where they showed up at my place. Early in the morning, they came up with this system whereby they say they're looking for somebody else just to make sure it's you. They showed me a A4 size of a Chinese old dude they're looking for, and all of a sudden they say, nope, we're looking for you.
All right. Well, now that Hans has stopped driving and he's safely at a couch, I already gave a little introduction about Hans. He's a Dominican veteran that was deported a while back. He came back under the same circumstances that I did, and he's trying to secure a pardon in New York. And he's been working with us very actively for the last 2 years. And without further ado, I'm going to let Hans Irizarry tell his story. And then at the end of his story, all of us can ask questions that we might have about their personal stories. So Hans, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Gustav says, we getting this together. Basically, you already know the name Hans Irizarry. I was deported to the Dominican Republic in 2008. Uh, Criminal possession of controlled substance. After I came out of the army and stuff, of course, like everyone else, PTSD, depression, and a whole bunch of other stuff that now they are basically documented in the VA. I was there. I was deported for like about 9 years. Decided to come back. I only had one family member over there in the Dominican Republic. That was my aunt. She passed, and after she passed, I was really by myself. My father was here, dying of LAS, and he also passed. I wasn't able to meet him. I didn't make it back to be able to see him before he passed and stuff like that. Um, then being back over, and ever since living pretty much in the shadows, uh, for the fact that everybody knows what can happen to you if you get caught again, send them back over there. It's a country where I left when I was very little, so I didn't have no family members or friends, and whoever I thought that I knew back then when I was a babe, when I was a kid, uh, they grew up, and everybody grows up to be different, and I had the same issue that your husband had, Francis, tattoos and stuff like that. You know, every time they see me with the tattoos, police try to stop me and say, hey, we're looking for criminals. The good thing that saved me was that I had my military ID, even though it was expired. Uh, they didn't seem to understand that it was expired ID, and all they saw was a military soldier from the United States, and it was, oh yes, sir, I'm sorry, sir, we stopped you. So it was all front, and it was ridiculous because it was like every other day, stopping you somewhere else, different people asking you for money, like, and I'm talking about the cops, not even people that are trying to rob you, I'm talking about the cops over there in the country. So it was hard finding a job as well because, you know, they will look at you like, well, once they put your name and everything in the system, and the system tells them that you were deported for whatever reason, even if it was a DUI or doesn't matter what it was, they will look at you over there like a criminal because it's like, you know what, you got deported, you are deportee, and you're a criminal, even though you have not committed a crime ever in that country because you literally have not lived there. So they make it impossible for you even to open a bank account or anything. So it's really hard. It's like a punishment on top of a punishment on top of a punishment because you lose your family, you lose your kids, you lose your friends, you lose everything, everything. And on top of that, they make you pay for the crime that you committed. So, you pay for the crime and then it's like, get out of here. And then you go somewhere that you don't know nobody. I didn't have the opportunity to hire an attorney for my immigration case because I didn't have money. And the judge told me just like that, listen, we're not going to provide you an immigration lawyer because this is not criminal court. This is federal and, this is immigration. You have to get your own. I tried to find out, too expensive. I didn't have the money. And when I went to see the judge, within 20 minutes, I was deported. He was like, you got to go somewhere. You can just stay here. I'll send you anywhere you want to go in the world, but you can't stay here. I was like, listen, I don't want to go nowhere. This is what I belong. My family, my kids, everybody's here, And he was like, nope, sorry. So long story short, he did what he did. Um, and it was a long struggle. Still is today, But God is good. And
The time.
he's in control of everything. I'm not scared because it's his plan. And I personally don't know how it's going to happen. I know he does. I trust him. It will happen one way or another. And I'm just working hard with Cesar and everybody else that is willing to help to bring every veterans back because it's not fair. Everybody has a different case, different situations, but one thing in common. We all were willing to give our lives for the country and defend, and without even looking at race, if you were white, black, blue, whatever, and there was no judgment. It was just like we were all green and we were all there ready to do what was supposed to be done. So I think what we're asking is only fair, and hopefully with this new administration, things will get to happen. Joe Biden promised us a couple of times that he will bring deported veterans home. So let's look forward for that to happen. And the actual president now, hopefully he decided and admitted that he lost and he stepped down, and, everything goes smooth with the transition and stuff like that. But like I say, God is good. He's my shepherd, and that's the bottom line. Here to help in every shape or form that we can.
God has the final say so.
Yes, he does. I'm going to quick mention that we also have in the meeting, we have Hector Ballesteros. He's another Marine. I think he's in Monterrey. I'm not sure. And we have Kevin Martinez. He was also another deported veteran that I think you were able to come back 2 years ago. I'm not sure. But just to mention that, I want to say that this is, I was late. You guys know I've been driving from DC over here, and I stepped in 5 minutes before the meeting. So I could have taken the meeting in Mesquite with plenty of time, but I would have not been able to record it on the phone, or at least I don't know how. And I made it home. Next week, I'm going to be a lot more prepared. And it's going to be, I hope, a little bit better with more people so they can hear what we got going on. We were going to discuss a little bit of the strategy that we got for Joe Biden as well. But I just wanted to mention that Hector Ballesteros is also a Marine that's been deported. And I've been in contact with him about 5-6 years as well. And he's very motivated. And like most of us, we want to come home. Everybody, we acknowledge our mistakes, but we don't deserve, as these 3 stories of this 3 wonderful individuals tells us, it's not fair, man. It's not fair. And I'm glad that we're getting together to tell your stories, and hopefully we can continue this to carry on. And if hey, Hector, you wanna tell a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and open up. I'm amazed by you guys that are on here. This is Francis Ramos and Allison. Speaking about your husbands and the situation that's been going on. I've been very quiet. I've kind of calmed down on my issue since currently I'm in Monterrey, which is just a few hours from Nuevo Laredo. I've lived in Nuevo Laredo. I worked there at Sony. Fortunately, I think I've had some good luck. I haven't been in too many bad places after I've been deported here in Mexico, or in bad situations, should I say. My life is going somewhat good. But yeah, the U.S., America is, or was, or always will be my home. But as a Marine, I've adapted and had to overcome. I've been here almost, about 18 years in Monterrey now. And life has been bearable. But I am opening up a bit more on my story and the issues that have happened. I'm kind of not too much involved because I've had to live my life. I've had to support myself. Right now I'm doing good. I have a house, I have a truck. I've left pursuing, trying to get back to the U.S. because as at first, you get deported and you don't know anyone. I mean, back then, those few years back, nobody knew about us veterans getting deported. And, it's not like you were just out in the open telling everyone, hey, I'm a deported veteran, I'm a deported veteran. I need to go back to the U.S. It's a sad story. It's a sad feeling. I know what most of you guys have felt. I know most of the guys in Mexico have it a little bit worse because, your home is right there in front of you, across the border, across the river. That feeling, it just sucks. To be able to see your homeland and not be there, it's a sad feeling, that hurts. But I've learned to live with that. Right now, I'm listening to your guys' story, feeling, more open to express, what has happened with me. I have a 26-year-old daughter that I haven't seen, her life went on. The story with us, well, we had some issues, you know, her mom and me. And unfortunately, not having money to, you know, pay an attorney or to proceed, you know, with my case, getting thrown out of court or fighting the case. My mom was supporting me with that. She was helping me. And in order for her not to suffer, I went ahead and made a plea agreement, which a plea agreement is a means of deportation.
Right.
And well, here I am in Mexico. But I'm looking forward to, you know, all of this getting settled, and hopefully we all do go back to the U.S. or have the ability to go back and forth to the U.S. Right now I am comfortable. I'm working in a good company, and I will see if within this company that I work with, I'm not going to mention the name, but I will contact you guys apart and let you know. If you need jobs, I'll send you emails, referrals. For those of you that are deported in other countries, this might be something that you can work from home, because right now I'm working at home. You know, as long as I have a computer and internet, I can provide for myself here and help myself meanwhile. I don't know what else to say at the moment, but I do thank Cesar Nunez. You know, he knows my story. He knows that I was working with another a deported veteran, and unfortunately, there was some issues with the way that, you know, things were being managed, and they didn't want me to be talking to this person, that person. But I see all that Cesar is doing, and the only thing that I can do on my part is repost what he puts on his Facebook, on his Unified Deported Veterans. I have a Facebook page also, which is a Deported Veteran Support House, Monterrey. One of the
Information
little,
is information, Papa. It doesn't matter, you know, as long as
exactly.
because he's being shy because it's another deported veteran organization, but it's cool, man. Information is information. So
Exactly.
And the mission is to get the word out about the deported veterans. That's it, right? And
Oh,
to bring
I
y'all
agree with
home.
you.
at this point, if we can have a little roundtable and share ideas of, you guys pretty much know what I'm pushing. The executive order, I got all my eggs in that basket. And because I like I said, I got all my research and still in the car. But in the first contact with deported veterans in Congress was back in 1998. In 1998, New York congressman submitted the first bill to change the law to bring deported veterans back. So that was 22 years ago. In those 22 years, there's been 26 bills submitted to Congress, and none of them have even gone to committee. So that's why I abandoned the approach of trying to get a legislation change, and I went directly for the president. And since I managed to get him to admit about deported veterans and to bring us back on executive order, that's where I'm punching them. You know, you said yes, you're bringing them back. I don't care what you do, you're bringing them back. If later on, Congress and the other organizations, because the problem is that all the other veteran organizations that are trying to assist deported veterans, they're a business. And their main purpose is to get funding for their organizations. It's not to bring our deported veterans back. And that's always been my argument with the directors and the founders of these organizations, that they put themselves and their benefit and the benefit of their organization before the lives of my deported veteran brothers. So that's why they don't like me, but that's why we're gonna win, because we're in this to bring us back. And I don't want no money, I don't want no fame, I don't want nothing, but I just wanna be able to go to bed and sleep knowing that all veterans are home. That's the pay that I'm gonna get. So at this point, if anybody got questions about what I'm doing, any questions for Fran, any questions for David or any of the other veterans here, now's the time to ask them. Don't be shy.
And then I don't have any questions, but I'm just happy to see what you're doing, Caesar.
Thank
As
you.
in, we've had a lot of chats with you on what we need to do.
Right.
And the main one is the executive order that
That's number
you
one.
really pounced on it. I'm happy to see you almost there. And that's the main one. If we can get this done, if we can get the support we need to do that, I think I think we're home. We
I
should
think
be
so
home.
too. And I'm gonna be breaking down that information that I have. I'm gonna be breaking it down into bite-sized pieces so all of us understand what is our. Everybody has a little piece of the puzzle, and I can see the whole puzzle complete, but I don't have the pieces. You guys are the pieces, and you got to put them together. And I'm just trying to coordinate to put that puzzle together. And I think it's working. I think it's working, and I'm really happy that there's a lot of hope right now with the deported veterans. I've been in contact with a lot of them. Obviously, a lot of people have been deported for many years, and a lot of them lost hope. But I think some of them are ready to come out and help on the internet.
Okay.
Yes, Ms. Beth?
I wanted to ask David in particular. I believe he said he's from Kenya. Is this correct, David?
Yes, yes, Mary Beth.
I'm just wondering if the, oh my gosh, the American, I don't know if they even have one there, but
They have an embassy.
is anybody in Kenya helping you address the issue that you are a veteran and have done anything to help right the problem from that end as we're battling on this end to get you back? Do you have any support at home there in Kenya?
That is
In
an
regards
excellent point.
to being a veteran, no.
Because
I'm not.
that is an excellent point, Ms. Beth. Mary Beth is a Veterans for Peace member in New York, just so you know, David. And but I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna do a little research on that because I think that is a great idea, Miss Mary Beth. It really is.
I volunteer with the refugee community here, and I have many acquaintances and friends from Congo and Sudan. And I know because of Trump's order of banning those countries in particular, as well as others, from having any more people come here. And I know that's definitely putting a bigger kink in the wheel of getting you back here, as is their family members being able to join them here. Everything's in limbo. So all the more reason for Caesar to really have us, Veterans for Peace, and all other organizations band together to push and hold Biden's feet to the fire to come through with the promise of bringing everybody home, regardless of where people are. But I just was wondering what, if anything, has been done in Kenya itself, recognizing you as a U.S. veteran and helping support by doing the paperwork on their end to allow you to get out of the country and come back
Right.
home to a country you put your life on the line for.
Right.
So have you initiated anything with the Kenyan government, or what do you call it? What's my problem that I can't think of what it's called?
American embassy.
Embassy.
American embassy. Right.
Embassy. I keep thinking assembly, and I'm thinking that's not right. Embassy. Hold the hell. Oh my gosh.
The last time I tried to contact the consulate was I was looking for a job and I didn't get it. And they know that I am a veteran because they saw my DD Form 214. But other than that, they didn't help. They didn't assist on that.
Did they not assist, or did they feel like they couldn't assist, or
Probably they felt that they could assist because I was a deported veteran, so they didn't understand why I was deported. That's what I saw, and that's the expression I got from even from the job interview, you know.
Is there
So,
any way you could provide us information as to your embassy, if you have a point of contact there, anybody in particular, or
I can forward direct lines to the embassy, and if you guys have links to some contacts that you can make, I can give you the numbers and
okay,
emails.
that would be great. Do you have family members in the United States?
No, I have family here now.
Okay, because that's going to be a consideration. It's not just the deported vet, it's the deported vet and his family, because you all served
Yes.
together.
Right.
Okay,
We have
thank you.
a late addition to the group. It's Gigi Kurian. He's a deported veteran from India. I don't know if he can hear us and he might want to say something. Gigi, can you hear us? Well, he's here. So, is there anything else anybody wants to know? Any other questions?
Cesar, this is Allison. I just wanted to, real quick, thank you for doing this. I myself am the daughter of a Marine, but we were lucky enough to be born here, so we can't be deported. But as somebody who's an American, I'm sitting comfortably at home because I have asthma and am at high risk for COVID. I will do everything to help you guys. So all of you deported veterans, you got family here now. Okay, David, we got you. So you just reach out, you tell us what we can do as comfortable American citizens and the proud daughter of a veteran. Like, I will help you guys. I'm here. I'm not going to center myself. We need to center all of you in your struggle. But you find me on Facebook, find me through Cesar. I got nothing but time, and I will make phone calls all day. So you just tell me what you need, and we got your back.
Thank you, Allison.
Of course.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
Anyone else have anything else to say? If not, I think yes.
I do want the I'm sorry, the woman that's in San Antonio.
Francis.
Francis. Oh, sorry. God, what is with my brain tonight?
It's Friday night.
I was stationed at Fort Sam Houston for 12 years. I love San Antonio.
Wow. Yeah.
But I guess I'm also, so there's nothing from San Antonio that is in any way helpful lawyer-wise or?
Well, I kind of was doing that when he first got, I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that, you know, he had been deported before. So I went to Joaquin Castro's office, you know, our congressman, and I went there and tried to talk to him. And he basically said he has to go through the process and then we can see what we can do for him. So then go through the process, gets deported. Then a year later, they call me that they want to interview my husband. And of course I said, well, of course, because it's on your political agenda now to help deported veterans and blah, blah, blah. So we went ahead and we did the interview. We had Aaron Nilsson and Bob, the photographer, come out to Nuevo Laredo, and they did spend a whole day taking pictures. They did an article. It was in conjunction with the one that they did in Tijuana, the plight for deported veterans to bring them home. That was in 2017, about a year after he had been there. So, I mean, attorneys, they just take your money. I mean, and they don't do what they're supposed to do. I was probably doing more work of the attorney than what he should have been. I got that U visa certification signed by the Atascosa Police Department. And they failed him again because he was a victim of a crime. They should not have deported a witness of a crime. So this is the route that I told him that maybe the route that's going to work for him this time. And the one that committed the crime against him was his own brother. And of course, family knew that he wasn't supposed to be here. And this is where the dichotomy is, because, you know, you have Americans that are born, commit crimes, do their time. And then you have the ones that are not born here, serve, and then they get, you know, do their time, get deported. And so I've coined the term that our deported veterans are served a life-death sentence, because they are basically sent to a country that they may not have grown up in. They are not aware of, they don't know the culture. Some of them don't even, Marcelino speaks better English than he does Spanish. I mean, and like I said, he's been Americanized. And so to me, I feel that what an injustice for them to be able to come back to this country dead.
Right.
I don't want that, to be given a full military burial, you know? And so how is that just?
It's a
I
lot
mean, I
easier to
know.
bring them back dead within a few days than it is to bring them back home alive. And that is a disgrace and very shameful on this government. And that's why I say we love our country, but all that government that we got, we got issues with it. And we're trying to solve them. So if anybody has any closing arguments or any closing statements that you guys would like to do, I need to wrap it up.
I just wanted to ask Frances one more thing about whether she was able to gain any kind of information or access to a staff judge advocate or an inspector general, particularly on Fort Sam.
No, I haven't. And
well, let me look into that. I used to work at the IG's office, not in San Antonio, but up here in Rochester. But I'll see what I can do on my end in regards
Ms.
to making.
Maribeth, if you have connections with law enforcement, the lawyer that is drafting the executive order, Ms. Elizabeth Ritchie, she looked over Davis' case and she said that if we can get any government official to charge the recruiter for lying to David, that's his way back home. So any law enforcement will do. And I just throw that in there in case you have somebody and they might want to review his case.
Okay.
All right. So next week I'm going to be better prepared. I'm going to have this better set up. I'm going to have more information so I can be emailing that information to everybody that participates on the meeting. And also remember that there's the secondary purpose of this is to record the stories of the deported veterans and their families and present that to Joe Biden and be like, hey, listen, man, this is the story of all of us. And as you can tell, all of us are similar in nature because we fell through the cracks. One way or another, the system failed us. And the only way to fix it is with an executive order and permanent legislation that they can work on themselves. But the first thing and the immediate thing to bring deported veterans back home is an executive order. So
I want to add something else as well. When the military soldiers get deported, one of the biggest issues that they run to is the fact that these countries that they get deported to don't have a VA facility where they can provide the help they need, the meds, the psychological, for the mental health, none of that stuff, and it's basically like grabbing them and throwing them somewhere and you on your own, and basically no health insurance, no nothing, not even someone. Basically a couple of times, many times, I called the hotline, the suicidal line from the Dominican Republic. And yes, I'm glad that I spoke to them and they were able to talk to me, but there was no way to forward the information to the VA or anything like that. So a doctor can call me and say, hey, you know what, we need to see you. Can we talk to you or whatever? Because they don't have they won't be able to, take care of you when you down there because they don't have a VA facility down there. So, that's one of the main things that all veterans go through, and it's not fair.
That is one of the things that I had mentioned in one of the prior interviews, that all of that doesn't cross the border. Now I understand that there are some veteran service officers that are working with some of our deported vets to get benefits and things like that. But I mean, it's still a process.
right.
It doesn't happen.
Yes, and that just happened recently. That started happening after I believe 2018, when they started providing, and not everywhere. I know in Mexico they're doing it. The Dominican Republic
Limited
well, but they're not receiving all the help that they really need, as well. So it's a good thing that they getting some of them are getting benefits and stuff like that. But it's really hard as well for them to get the PMC exam and stuff like that from the VA. So it's not fair. What I'm trying to say, if everybody were to be here, they'd be able to go to the facility and have being seen by a physician, and take care of themselves, But hopefully all that will change.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna call this meeting to an end. And like I said, I'll be better prepared next Friday. We're gonna be doing these stories, narratives every Friday. So I'm gonna try. There's several deported veterans that they want to tell their stories. So as soon as I confirm with them on Monday, I'll post the new event, and I'll also have this ready to be posted as well for people to for reference. And I want to thank everybody for joining, and for especially the veterans. Thank you guys for having the courage to tell your stories. Fran, I mean, what can I say, man? I feel so bad because I have usually only been focused on the pain of the deported veterans. But my wife is always like, hey, we suffer too. I'm like, no, yo, this is about us. But I understand now that it involves everybody. You see the pain, and the pain is the same. So.
And I have a 5-year-old that needs a GI Bill because she says she's gonna grow up and be an attorney and bring her daddy home.
Right. Hopefully she won't have to wait that long.
Exactly.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much for joining this meeting. Our first
Thank you.
documented stories of deported veterans. And I'm very grateful that you guys are here. Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
hopefully I'll see you guys next Friday.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care,
All
guys.
right, everyone. I included my number in my email.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Hector.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Caesar.